This is the Independence Blue Cross Bull Session, a weekly recap of your 2023 Phillies. Broadcasting live from Chickies and Pete's. Tonight's show is brought to you by Team Toyota, BCWSA, Fogo de Show, Independence Blue Cross, and Capital Grill. Now, here are your hosts, Phillies PA announcer Dan Baker and Mickey Morandini.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Chickies and Pete's in Malvern. I've been to just about all the Chickies and Pete's. This is the first time I've been to this one. What a beautiful facility, as are really all the Chickies and Pete's. Great place to go. And, of course, this is the Independence Blue Cross Bull Session. We talk Phillies baseball. We talk Phillies history. And we have a wonderful guest tonight, as we do every show. And we're going to be focusing tonight on the late, great Dick Allen. And we have Richard Allen, Dick's son, is our special guest tonight. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more in just a moment. But first, and we're going to have celebrities stopping by. I can tell you that. And I think I told you we might have a surprise, a teammate of your father's, who might be stopping by. And your father lent him his bat, and he hit 2 home runs with it. I'll tell you that much. But we have a wonderful co-host here, and he was one of the top, and is one of the top second basemen in Phillies baseball history. He is a National League All-Star. He was a member of the 1993 National League Championship Phillies. He is number 12, Mickey Morandini.
You say that so well.
Oh, God, I love to say it. And when people always, actually, of course, my former partner, Greg Luzinski. I love to say Greg's name also, but there are certain names, Mickey, like yours and his, the polysyllabic verbs that just
flows.
That roll off the tongue in a beautiful melody, and that's why it's such a pleasure to say your name. And you're such a good person along with it, and an important Philly.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Now, when I was growing up in the 50s, I know there's some... And by the way, welcome to... a lot of our regulars have come tonight. We'd like to thank you. One of our co-hosts, Bill Werndell, is here tonight. And Bill, you heard him yesterday on the Baseball Insiders, I believe, didn't we? Weren't you the Baseball Insiders yesterday, Bill? And my goodness, Bill and I started doing... I think NFL statistics together back in the 60s, William, if I'm correct about that, at Franklin Field for the Eagles and for the visiting NFL teams, and then went into a lot of other different directions. But, Bill, thank you for being here. Now, we had hoped to have Hank Allen tonight. Hank is Dick's older brother, played for the Washington Senators and the Chicago White Sox, and had a great reputation as a coach and a scout. Hank was unable to make it. He was at the ballpark over the weekend for the Dick Allen festivities. Of course, we had Dick Allen night on Friday night, June 9th. How about everybody 15 and older got a Dick Allen bobblehead? What a great souvenir. Hank's son, Rick Allen, is here tonight. Rick, we thank you for coming, and we know Hank's 83rd birthday. Thank you for coming. And you know something, ladies and gentlemen, there is nobody who's campaigned harder for Dick Allen's inclusion into the Baseball Hall of Fame than Mark Carfagno, Froggy, member of the Phillies grounds crew. And Mark, I'd like to thank you on behalf of all of us Phillies fans for all that you've done for all of these years. Dick Allen has missed being elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame twice by one vote in the Veterans Committee. Regretfully, shamefully. And but that wrong is going to be corrected. And people like Mark Carfagno and our special guest tonight is Richard Allen, Dick's son. He looks a lot like his dad. He's so polite, just like his father. He was a very good athlete, but my goodness, how could anybody be an athlete as good as there's few people that can ever live up, to the greatness of someone as special as your father. But Richard, we thank you for joining us tonight, and a wonderful ceremony over on Friday night.
Yes.
And we're going to give you a chance in just a second to tell us about your father and you. Mickey, your thoughts about Dick Allen before we get to our special guest.
Yeah, just I've talked to several people. I really didn't get to see him play a lot, but they say he probably is the most athletic person that's ever played for the Phillies. I mean, he could do it all. He obviously hit for power, hit for average, could run, could throw. He could do all different sorts of things. And you said someone used his bat to pinch hit, right? Or used his bat. I think if Dick Allen gave me his bat, I don't think I could be able to lift it, because he swung a really heavy bat, right? I don't know what the ounces on it was and the length, but I don't even think I'd be able to swing it. But just a phenomenal baseball player. And, our Hall of Fame system is really broken. It really is. And for me, you're either a Hall of Famer or you're not a Hall of Famer. I don't understand the build-up to becoming a Hall of Famer. I think there should be one vote, and you're either in or you're not in. That's just my opinion. A lot of these writers, they'll vote for somebody one time and then they don't vote for them the next time. I think it's a broken system, and definitely Dick Allen should be in the Hall of Fame.
One of my favorite Phillies teams ever were the 1964 Phillies. That's the team that had a 6.5 game lead with 12 to go. We couldn't quite hold on, but some of the Phillies memories that I cherish the most happened that year, and many of them were authored by your father. Number 15, Dick Allen. But there was Johnny Callison on that team. Art Mahaffey, Bobby Wine, who we've had on our show a number of times. Ruben Amaro Sr., oh my heavens. Jim Bunning, Chris Short, Jack Balchin, who somebody told me just passed sadly. And somebody... Also, we're filled with celebrities tonight. Connie Newman is here tonight, the longtime Phillies batting practice pitcher. And I mean back in the Carlton and Schmidt and Luzinski years, and also a tremendous basketball player. And we've got a couple of tremendous basketball players that are going to be coming here tonight, and I'm going to introduce them upon their arrival. But they could be in a boat right now. I mean, with all the rain we're getting tonight.
Unbelievable.
Thank goodness Jason Berkowitz was kind enough to bring me out here. I might not have made it. Jason, thank you. And I have to tell you, sitting in Connie Mack Stadium, as like a teenager, and watching number 15 bat, Mickey, I never saw the ball jump off of somebody's bat like I did his. I mean, it would shoom. And he'd hit it over the roof. He'd hit it over the Coca-Cola sign on top of the roof and out. He'd hit him out to center. Center field was 447. He hit one over the Valentine scoreboard in right field that had to be, I think the right field wall was 40 feet high. The Valentine scoreboard stuck up another 42 feet above that. Richard Allen.
Yes.
Tell us about your dad from your perspective. And you certainly have campaigned lovingly, loyally about your father's inclusion in the Hall of Fame. Make a case for why your dad should be in the Hall of Fame, and tell us about your father as a person. Would you please?
Okay, well, if I had to make a case, I I think right now he's being judged on what he did outside the lines. He said he would say everything that everyone has a problem with is basically outside the lines. Inside the lines is what he should be judged for. Um, Early on, kind of like what you hinted on, Mickey, about you're in, you're out, and I was always under that impression of the 3,000 hits, 500, cut the ribbon, you're in. Um, then I was given the what's the word I'm looking for? Did he dominate? And they talk about the other things. If you look at his career, some people say he didn't play long enough, but 10-year span, he dominated. He dominated in both leagues, winning an MVP in one, a Rookie of the Year in the other. So there he was all-star in both leagues. So then I started thinking, okay, that would be my case for him. But the other stuff, they say, oh, he was lazy. What did they say? His personality, he was a, the bad guy and things, but never ejected from a game in his whole career. So he wasn't the hothead that he was. He wasn't. He was never ran for anything. But the person, which I just met someone here. Oh no, it was Connie Newman. He said his wife had passed, and he spent 45 minutes just. And I wasn't shocked at that because that's the type of person he was. He's very personal. Anyone that knew him would know that. He would shut people out, take the time to personally talk to you. Sometimes that was a pain because he had to hit every person along the way when we're trying to get somewhere to just to say, like at Alumni Weekend, he has to make a stop every 3 steps. So.
Oh, he is absolutely beloved, and I know that wrong is going to be righted. And Richard, a little bit later in the show, with your permission, I'd like to bring Froggy up in your place too, because off the top of his head, he has all the stats.
Oh my goodness.
Mark, are you going to be ready to come up here in a little bit and tell us about why Dick Allen should be in the Hall of Fame? One of the next couple of segments, okay? So get ready. We want you. I'm telling you, he's done such a great job. Richard, Bill Werndell, and I, and others have been on Mark's committee that's going around to different schools and everything, and discussed the merits of why Dick Allen should be in the Hall of Fame. And Richard, tell us about this weekend and Dick Allen Night last Friday, June 9th at Citizens Bank Park. What were the highlights to you?
The field naming, that was huge. Like I had mentioned, I went out there, looked at the fields, and remarkable. It's unbelievable that the youth academy, the kids get to play on fields with such. Those are professional fields that they're well manicured. And it made me think of the fields that my father grew up playing, and and what they played on, which was absolutely nothing like that. But now that his name is a part of that, attached to that in a positive way, forever, with the city of Philadelphia, it was a good feeling to know that the Philly organization gave back to say here, because you can't go back and say, sorry about that, what happened all those years ago. But this was a nice way of saying thank you.
I thought it was a wonderful thing for the Phillies to do, and now Mickey Morandini right next to each other, Dick Allen Field and Richie Ashburn Field, and that's going to hold a place in the hearts of Phillies fans and amateur baseball players in this area for years and years to come.
Yes.
So congratulations. Now,
thank you.
Who did you see? A lot of your dad's former teammates came back, and former Phillies. Off the top of your head, can you tell us a few that you saw the other night?
Bill White. I was a big one there.
The great Bill White, former National League president.
Yes.
Bill, you know who brought Bill White to the ballpark? Bill Werndell. So, Bill's a great man too, and does a good job on this show with us. We're going to take a timeout in a second, and then we're going to ask Mark to come up in the next segment, Richard, if that's all right with you.
Oh, certainly.
And then we're going to ask you to come back. But ladies and gentlemen, as you know, the Phillies have been very streaky this year, and they just took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. They swept the Tigers, Mickey, and we're back to within 1 game of 500. Tonight, the Phillies are at Arizona. They've been a surprise team.
They're playing really good baseball right now. It's going to be a tough test.
Mickey, in the improvement that you've seen in the Phillies, first of all, would you agree that they seem to be heading in the right direction now, or are they still kind of like trying to find their way?
It appears they're headed in the right direction. You know, they played well in Washington. They played really well against Detroit, and had a good series against the Dodgers. I mean, winning 2 out of 3 against that ball club, that's a good series. And they seem to be headed in the right direction. The starting pitching is much better than the last time I was on the show a few weeks ago, and the hitting's still a little inconsistent. You know, they still need to hit that long ball to score runs, but yesterday was a nice win, and you know, they're running the bases a little bit. Everything's been a little more consistent, so hopefully they can go out to Arizona. I think they need to win 5 out of 7 on this road trip, especially going to Arizona and Oakland. So we'll see what happens.
Does Oakland still have the worst record in
baseball?
baseball?
By far.
Yeah.
By far.
All right. Well, listen, thank you for joining us tonight on the Independence Blue Cross Bull Session. Of course, we're broadcasting live over WBCB 1490 AM and 107.3 FM. You can also hear us on the internet, www.wbcb1490.com. We're also live streamed, and I'm going to ask Chris Irmer during this next break. I think you can get us also maybe on YouTube, Chris, and if there's any other venues, I'm going to tell you about those. Don't go away, because Mark Carfagno is going to come up and tell you a lot more about the great Dick Allen coming up in the next segment of the Independence Blue Cross Bull Session.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. It's all new and it's all for you. The heated deck at Chicky and Pete's on the Boulevard is now open. It's enclosed, heated, and perfect for the ultimate in-game experience or live music when the best local bands take the stage, like LeComte, Fat Mez, or Jameson. Check our website for the band schedule. The heated deck at Chicky and Pete's on the Boulevard is now open every Thursday through Sunday. Chickies and Pete's.
I'm always striving to live my healthiest life, so I need a health plan that has my back. With Independence Blue Cross, I get access to the largest network of doctors and hospitals in the region and free virtual doctor visits 24/7. Plus, with premiums as low as $0 per month, I can stay on top of my health and keep my budget in check. Independence has given me coverage I can count on, and they'll do the same for you. Explore your coverage options and enroll today at ibx.com.
A truly unique dining experience awaits you at Fogo de Chão. Fogo de Chão awes patrons with their history and tradition of authentic Brazilian steakhouse, offering many cuts of decadent fire-roasted meats prepared over an open fire and served tableside by trained gaucho chefs. Fogo de Chão, 1337 Chestnut Street in Center City, Philadelphia. For reservations, go to www.fogo.com or call 215-636-9700.
There really is nothing like a home team advantage. That's why Team Toyota makes a great choice for your next vehicle purchase or service. With our MVP pricing guarantee, teammate rewards program, and streamlined customer experience, our award-winning operation ensures that you can trust our process. A home team advantage is nothing without the community. Our employees are part of our family, part of your town, and we're all part of the team. We're always here for you at one of our 3 locations in Princeton, Langhorne, and Glen Mills, or at teamtoyota.net.
If you're looking for a stylish and sophisticated fine dining experience, visit your Eddie V's Prime Seafood restaurant near King of Prussia. Eddie V's Seafood features an abundant selection of fine wines and curated cocktails to complement exquisite steaks and seafood made from the highest quality ingredients. In the V Lounge, sip on imaginative handcrafted cocktails with attitude while enjoying signature appetizers. Conveniently located between I-276 and I-76 near the King of Prussia Mall. Call them today, 610-337-7823 to schedule your night out for Eddie V's Prime Prime Seafood.
We now return to the Independence Blue Cross Bull Session. Once again, here are your hosts, Phillies PA announcer Dan Baker and Mickey Morandini.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome back to Chickies and Pete's in Malvern. What a beautiful facility. And every week you can hear the Independence Blue Cross Bull Session. Next week we're going to be at Parks Casino. A special guest tonight, Richard Allen, Dick Allen's son. Boy, one of the greatest baseball players ever to perform in Philadelphia. We've got all kinds of celebrities stopping by. We're going to get to Mark Carfagno in just a second. Are there any Big Five basketball fans in the audience? Drew Davis is out there. Ladies and gentlemen, two of the greatest basketball players from Temple University are in the house. They have just arrived because, like me, one of their favorite baseball players ever is the great number 15, Dick Allen. Ladies and gentlemen, the man who led the Temple Owls to the 1969 NIT Championship at Madison Square Garden. It was Harry Litwack's Owls over Bob Cousy's Boston College Eagles. This man grabbed every big rebound down the stretch. I was in the stands to applaud every one of them. One of the greatest players in Big Five history, number 14, John Baum, right here. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the greatest ever. And with him, his best friend and a very dear friend of mine. He graduated 1 year before the 69 championship team in 1968. A great player out of John Bartram High School. And he helped lead. Bartram had some great teams over the years.
Monroe.
But one of their, Earl of Pearl Monroe, was, of course, we're going to give you many. We're going to give you a chance to throw some in there, Mark. But this guy here, oh boy, one of Harry Litwack's favorites. Ladies and gentlemen, please also welcome Big Five Hall of Famer, Temple Hall of Famer, number 32, Clarence Brookins. John Baum and Clarence Brookins. And they will challenge any two people in here to a game of basketball. So if you beat him, you get $1 million. So, no, just having a little fun. But these are my dear friends. And we're going to visit with Richard and John and Clarence sitting with Richard there. That's Rick Allen. That's Hank Allen's son. Unfortunately, Hank is a little under the weather. And John and Clarence and other basketball players, Connie Newman, right there next to you, John, on the same side, John, as you. And Connie was the Phillies batting practice pitcher for how many years, Connie? 15 or more? 13. And a great basketball player as well. Well, John and Clarence, thank you for coming. And that's not all, Richard. There may be another, I told you, there's another former teammate of your dad's who told me that he's going to try to stop by tonight too. Mark Carfagno. It's been too long, Mark, since we've had you on the air with us. Yes. I thank you so much for coming out tonight.
My pleasure.
And you've done such a wonderful job talking about your hero and mine and Mickey's, Dick Allen, one of the greatest players in baseball history. What makes Dick Allen so great, Mark Carfagno?
Well, first of all, he's a great person. Very misunderstood. But as far as making him a Hall of Famer, he has the stats. One of the biggest ones, and they say one of the fairest stats out there to compare a player is OPS plus, which is on base plus slugging adjusted to the era, because that's why it's fair. They adjust the era, they adjust the size of the ballpark, and also the pitcher's mound when Dick played for 5 seasons. It was 15 inches high. All that is taken into consideration. Now, when you go through that, his career OPS plus is 156. That ranks him 22nd all-time in all of baseball. The only person ahead of him who only played partially in his era is Mickey Mantle. The rest of them, everybody else, Mays, Aaron, Clemente, Stargell, they're all below him. Everyone is below him. Everyone's below him. So that's a big stat right there. Yeah, so that's another thing. And also, you have to understand, the racism that he went through, right? Everybody, the controversy. Like I tell people, he was outspoken because he found out he was underpaid a couple times. John Quinn was a tough general manager. I think Tony Taylor had to go up to him and tell him, look, you're not even getting the minimum. You have to get, what you deserve. So he went in there to his office, and they got that problem rectified. And but he was considered controversial, and also back then in 1964, being from Philadelphia, being controversial and one of the most racist cities in the country, and he was called every name in the book. I was there; I witnessed it firsthand. You got that, and also you have he actually saved all this should be taken into consideration when it voted on. He saved the White Sox from relocating. Roland Heeman told me himself personally, because I got testimonials. He called me on the phone. He said, without Dick Allen, we would not be even having this conversation. They were going to relocate and go to St. Pete. He saved the franchise. So the racism he went through, that's one. All that's part of his resume. The saving the franchise, that's 2. Number 3 is his power. Now, you had Bill Jenkinson on, I'm not sure, but Bill Jenkinson is an expert on long home runs and how far they traveled, right? And he rates Dick Allen number 2, tied number 2 with Mickey Mantle, Jimmy Fox, and Dick Allen. Number 1, of course, is Babe Ruth. But number 2 is Dick Allen. Dick Allen hit over 20 home runs over 500 feet. All that is part of his resume. If you talk to people who watched him play in 1964, anytime, whenever they watch him play, the first words out of their mouths are, I remember, I was there when he hit it over the Coke sign. I was there when he hit it over the 75-foot high scoreboard. I was there when he hit it over when he hit it out in the Somerset Street. I was there when he did that. So all that stuff, and I got stats galore here.
Go ahead, give us some more. I want to hear it.
He had. Okay, in 1960, from 64 to 74, he ranked 2nd in extra base hits per at-bat. Number 1 was Willie Stargell. Number 2 was Dick Allen. Behind him, Hank Aaron, Willie McCovey, Frank Robinson, Reggie Jackson, Willie Mays, Willie Williams, Cesar Cedeno, Johnny Bench. For first baseman, in win shares, he had a 31.68 per 162 games. The only other player ahead of him in the history of the game, Lou Gehrig. Now, you're talking icons here in the black ink test. I don't know if people are familiar with that, but that's...
Tell us what that is,
okay.
Mark.
That's the black ink. They have black ink and gray ink. Black ink is when you lead a category, like when you lead the league in a category, home runs. Gray ink is when you finish like in the top 5 or top 10. So in the black ink test score, he ranks 70th all time. That is better than 33 Kevin Hall of Famers, including his contemporaries, Ernie Banks, who's 73rd. Dick Allen is 70th. Lou Brock is 76th. Clemente, 88th. Johnny Bench, 109th. Billy Williams, 132nd.
These are all Hall of Famers.
And they're all below him. They're all below him. That's how great this guy is. Now, the gray ink test, which is, I believe it's either top 5 or top 10 categories. Dick is 75th all time. That's better than 47 Hall of Famers, including contemporaries. Clemente, Carew, Santo, Brooks Robinson, Joe Morgan, and Tony Perez. There's stats galore, and he hit 7 inside the park home runs in his career. That ranks him 4th in his era, behind Willie Wilson, Lou Brock, and Roberto Clemente. And trailing him was Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, and Billy Williams. The 162 game average, they say that's a new stat that they've been bringing up lately. Now, it's not here, but I did a thing... or actually, it might have been Drew Davis who did it, your buddy there. We used 11 offensive categories, and home runs, slugging percentage, OPS. We 11 offensive categories, and we put him up against all his contemporaries. The only three players that beat him, were Frank Robinson, Willie Mays, and Mickey Mantle. They're the only three players to beat him. Now, when I tell you 11 categories, he shuts out Johnny Bench in 11-0. Ron Santo, it's like 10-1. Willie Stargell, it's like 8-3. He's out 162 game average. He's better than everybody, except with the exception of those three players who are great players: Willie Mays, as I said, Frank Robinson, and Mickey Mantle. I mean, I could go on and on. I got stats galore.
Compelling, Mark.
Yes, very compelling. I mean, and the power, like I said, the power. Relative slugging, that's another stat, 14th all-time. There are only three players ahead of him in his era: Mickey Mantle, Hank Aaron, and Willie Mays.
Mark, we have to pause for our next commercial break. Then we're going to bring Richard back.
Okay, good. Yeah.
I want you to go out with a bang.
Yeah.
One more thing on Dick. We want to thank you so much.
Okay, yeah.
Drew Davis is here.
Yeah.
When he heard you were going to be on the air, he drove up from Delaware.
That's my buddy Drew. I tell you what, Drew. Thank you so much. He's a baseball historian, and he doesn't even know it.
Give me one more thing about Dick Allen.
One more thing about Dick Allen. How about I give you a Bill Campbell calling one of his home runs?
Go ahead, do it.
How about Bill was actually reading the scoreboard. I'll just do it quickly. He's reading the score. This out-of-town scoreboard. This out-of-town score, Baltimore leads Chicago on swing line drive home run. Oh, baby, oh my. I've seen him hit that far, but I swear I've never seen him leave that fast. Line drive home run by Dick Allen.
With Mark Carfagno and the great Mickey Morandini, I'm Dan Baker, back with the second half of the Independence Blue Cross Bull Session after these words.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. It's all new and it's all for you. The heated deck at Chicky and Pete's on the Boulevard is now open. It's enclosed, heated, and perfect for the ultimate in-game experience or live music when the best local bands take the stage. Like LeComte, Fat Mez, or Jameson. Check our website for the band schedule. The heated deck at Chicky and Pete's on the Boulevard is now open every Thursday through Sunday. Chickies and Pete's.
Millions of Americans are losing their medical assistance or Medicaid coverage. If this affects you, Independence Blue Cross can help. You may be eligible to enroll in a health plan for as little as $0 a month. With Independence Blue Cross, you get the largest provider network in the area, including most Keystone First doctors and hospitals. We also offer free 24/7 telemedicine, coverage for hospital stays and prescriptions. See if you qualify for $0 health insurance and enroll today. Call Independence Blue Cross at 1-844-464-2583 or visit ibx.com/staycovered.
A truly unique dining experience awaits you at Fogo de Chão. Fogo de Chão awes patrons with their history and tradition of authentic Brazilian steakhouse, offering many cuts of decadent fire-roasted meats prepared over an open fire and served tableside by trained gaucho chefs. Fogo de Chão, 1337 Chestnut Street in Center City, Philadelphia. For reservations, go to www.fogo.com or call 215-636-9700.
There really is nothing like a home team advantage. That's why Team Toyota makes a great choice for your next vehicle purchase or service. With our MVP pricing guarantee, teammate rewards program, and streamlined customer experience, our award-winning operation ensures that you can trust our process. A home team advantage is nothing without the community. Our employees are part of our family, part of your town, and we're all part of the team. We're always here for you at one of our 3 locations in Princeton, Langhorne, and Glen Mills, or at teamtoyota.net.
If you're looking for a stylish and sophisticated fine dining experience, visit your Eddie V's Prime Seafood restaurant near King of Prussia. Eddie V's Seafood features an abundant selection of fine wines and curated cocktails to complement exquisite steaks and seafood made from the highest quality ingredients. In the V Lounge, sip on imaginative handcrafted cocktails with attitude while enjoying signature appetizers. Conveniently located between I-276 and I-76 near the King of Prussia Mall. Call them today, 610-337-7823 to schedule your night out for Eddie V's Prime Seafood.
We now return to the Independence Blue Cross Bull Session. Once again, here are your hosts, Phillies PA announcer Dan Baker and Mickey Morandini.
Hey, welcome back to the Independence Blue Cross Bull Session. Tonight we're dedicating our show to Dick Allen, one of the greatest baseball players in Phillies history some would argue the greatest. And many would also campaign for Dick to get into the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, and that was quite an impassioned recommendation by Mark Carfagno. Mark Carfagno, thank you for that excellent synopsis. You know what started today, Mark? The Carpenter Cup. Mark is the original PA voice of the Carpenter Cup. I've done a few of those. In fact, I've done a lot of those games over the years. But the first was Mark Carfagno. And Mark has filled in for me in the PA a couple of times. And I've had a few famous people, you know, Tug McGraw, Mitch Williams, Glenn Wilson, Chris Wheeler, and let's get back to Dick Allen here. And gosh, we've got this high-priced talent like Mickey Morandini. We're letting our great guest do all the talking. Mickey, I
That's
hope you
all
don't
right.
mind.
I'm enjoying it. I'm learning a lot.
Well, Richard, thank you for rejoining us. And Richard is a dear friend, and we usually get together when we go down to Florida. My wife and I go down usually for the month of March, and we'll get together for a Phillies game, you know, over in Clearwater, have dinner together. And Richard is just a wonderful example. Richard, what I wanted to ask you, we've talked about Dick Allen, the great baseball player. Can you tell us a little bit about Dick Allen, the great father, husband, person? What makes him so very good with those categories?
I would have to say a lot of that would have to come from my grandmother, his mother. So a lot of her upbringing was passed down through him to me, and it was always to be humble and very respectful of other people. You know, even like with the whole campaign and everything like that, and he wasn't happy with me doing it because he never wanted me to compare him to another player. He was like, you know, you never compliment yourself. You allow other people to compliment you. You know, you don't want to offend another player for their accomplishments. You know, so just a humble, very respectful person, and always to have manners and mannerisms.
And in what ways do you feel like you emulate your father?
Well, from what I understand, everything from the way I walk, my gestures. Gary Maddox once said, he's like, "Oh, gee, he even coughs like you," or you know, like so. But we never saw it. I mean, he was like, "You think you look like me?" I go, "Oh, maybe a little bit." And everyone goes, "No." Billy Williams used to spit on the ground and say, "Boy, he spit you out."
And Richard, we were talking. Did I tell you that Mark Carfagno was on the Phillies grounds crew? Mark, how many years were you in that role? 33.
Oh, wow.
Now, a couple of those years you were joined by Richard Allen. What was that experience like for you, Richard? Being a member of the Phillies grounds crew.
You see how it rained today? My very first day, it started out just like that, and it just poured, and I got almost caught underneath the tarp, and everybody kicked me because they said it was my fault for having it be my first day there. But it was fun. I mean, it was so much fun. I moved to Maryland and asked if I could come up on the weekends just to help out. And the '93 team, I snuck in to change the base for the World Series games.
Nice.
So what years were you a member of the Phillies grounds crew?
It was in the 80s. I'm going to say 84, 85 or so, something like that. I still have my employee card.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that your dad used to almost be like a second father to Froggy, to Mark Carfagno.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about how Richard's father, Mark, took you under his wing. He would give you money from time to time and try to help you because I think you lost your dad at an early age. Yeah. So that's part of the human quality that Dick Allen had, and it's just so special.
Yeah, that was just his way.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to tell you something else. This might be one of the first times that some of you are going to hear this tonight. John Baum, one of the greatest players. Is John still down there? Listen, he could have replaced Richie Ashburn in center field. John was an all-city baseball player. But in those days, you know, and I'm not going to go into the whole thing. We could take the rest of the show. But the Phillies, Dick Allen, of course, was the Phillies' first black star. But there were a couple of other Phils, Mickey, that were signed before Dick. And before that, John Baum was a very good baseball player and didn't have the chance. In fact, I know Temple, Ernie Casal, or Harry Litwack didn't want you to play baseball because you were so good at basketball. But John, it would have been something if you had been given the opportunity. And would it be true to say that baseball might have been your best sport?
It was.
Here.
Take this and put this on for a minute. Good, we're good?
There you go.
Yeah, baseball was my best game. I played baseball every day. Almost like my brother over there, Clarence Brooks, played basketball every day. But I played baseball every day. I wanted to be a professional baseball player. So I was a decent player. We talk about Reggie Jackson. I was on the same field as Reggie Jackson. So I wasn't a Hall of Famer, but I could play center field. So, but then I had an opportunity to go to Temple and play basketball, so I had a choice to make. The Pittsburgh Pirates wanted me to go into their farm system. And then Harry Litwack from Temple said, well, you can come here and play basketball. So I chose basketball over baseball. And from that point on, I never touched a baseball again. One, because Harry Litwack would not let Skippy Wilson allow me to play baseball. But I love basketball, and basketball is what I'm all about. And you're my best friend, Dan, so I'm going to give you this mic back.
Mickey and Richard, this guy was one of the top picks
Thank you, I appreciate it.
in the NBA when he graduated from Temple in '69. Were you the second round pick of the Chicago Bulls? And he played in the NBA and the ABA, Mickey, for 6 or 8 years.
Very
and
nice.
one of his teammates with the New Jersey Nets was Julius Irving.
Now, did you play with Bob Love?
Bob Love, sure.
Chet Lemon?
Chet Walker.
Or Chet Walker, I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Jerry Sloan, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Artis Gilmore? Was he there then? Played against him, okay.
Oh, man. It's great to see you, John. And we're going to have dinner together afterwards, my brother, and Clarence and Richard and Rick and Mickey, if you're well, I know you've had a long day already, but you're welcome to join us too.
Thank you.
And so, listen, it's so nice to see everybody tonight, and just the feeling, and thank goodness, society has come such a long way. But that terrific athlete and terrific man,
Yeah.
the prejudice of the day prevented him, from an opportunity.
Oh, wow.
And countless others. And gosh knows we still have to get better in so many ways, but I think we've come a long way. And, seeing the chemistry, Mickey, at Citizens Bank Park the other night, and with all the wonderful people, black and white and Hispanic and American, and and the feeling amongst them, to me, it's heartwarming.
Yeah, Phillies do a great job. They honor the nationalities, all different nationalities. They honor them at a ball game. I think it was Greek night the other night. So they do a great job. Yeah, we got a long way to go yet, but slowly but surely we're starting to get there. But it was a great night the other night. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be there, but I did go to the RBI field. We had a RBI clinic the next day after the ceremony, and saw Dick Allen on top of the scoreboard there. That was pretty neat to see. So really, really cool.
Mickey, I was talking about how Dick Allen was a hero of mine. Robin Roberts was a hero. My dad was my hero. Who was, and probably your dad too, but in baseball, was there one baseball player more than the others that you looked up to as a young kid?
There was, and you know, I was really young when Clemente was playing. I think I was 6 years old when he passed away in the plane crash. But I was a big Al Oliver fan. A lot of people might not know about Al Oliver, but great hitter, center fielder, first baseman, could run. I remember Larry Bowa tells me he hit some of the hardest balls he'd ever seen. So, and I'm from Pittsburgh, and he played with the Pirates. He was in Philly, I believe, 1 year. But he was the one I grew up a big fan of. Yeah.
We have to take our last commercial. Hasn't this been a great show?
Went by fast.
My goodness. We're going to be back with the final segment. And by the way, thanks to Mark Weissner and Mike Flaherty and Jack and Ellen Foreman, our official photographer. Boy, Ellen, you're going to be able to sell these tonight. And, she makes a wonderful book up for BCB. Back with the last segment of tonight's Independence Blue Cross Bull Session after this.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. It's all new and it's all for you. The heated deck at Chicky and Pete's on the Boulevard is now open. It's enclosed, heated, and perfect for the ultimate in-game experience or live music when the best local bands take the stage. Like LeComte, Fat Mez, or Jameson. Check our website for the band schedule. The heated deck at Chicky and Pete's on the Boulevard is now open every Thursday through Sunday. Chickies and Pete's.
At Independence Blue Cross, we believe in giving you the tools you need to pursue your healthiest life. From premiums as low as $0 per month to health discounts and cash rewards, it pays to have coverage with Independence. With the strongest network of doctors and hospitals in the region and free 24/7 virtual doctor visits, you can feel confident that quality care is always within reach. Learn more about your coverage options at ibx.com.
A truly unique dining experience awaits you at Fogo de Chão. Fogo de Chão awes patrons with their history and tradition of authentic Brazilian steakhouse, offering many cuts of decadent fire-roasted meats prepared over an open fire and served tableside by trained gaucho chefs. Fogo de Chão, 1337 Chestnut Street in Center City, Philadelphia. For reservations, go to www.fogo.com or call 215-636-9700.
SEPTA offers a variety of career opportunities. Our core business is transit, and with 5 modes of service, we rely on and need operators, engineers, and conductors. But it takes a host of other specialties, including mechanics, electricians, plumbers, masons, painters, carpenters, welders, and more to keep the system moving. As an employee, you will earn competitive compensation and great benefits, including medical, dental, prescription, and a pension. Visit jobs.septa.org to apply today. That's jobs.septa.org.
If you're looking for a stylish and sophisticated fine dining experience, visit your Eddie V's Prime Seafood restaurant near King of Prussia. Eddie V's Seafood features an abundant selection of fine wines and curated cocktails to complement exquisite steaks and seafood made from the highest quality ingredients. In the V Lounge, sip on imaginative handcrafted cocktails with attitude while enjoying signature appetizers. Conveniently located between I-276 and I-76 near the King of Prussia Mall. Call them today, 610-337-7823 to schedule your night out for Eddie V's Prime Seafood.
We now return to the Independence Blue Cross Bull Session. Once again, here are your hosts, Phillies PA announcer Dan Baker and Mickey Morandini.
Welcome back, everybody. Hasn't this been a fun show? And Chris Ermer tells me our ratings are through the roof. And hey, John and Clarence, we have these two, and Connie Newman too, another very good basketball player. You know that not only was Dick Allen a Hall of Fame baseball player, he was an all-state basketball player. Richard, tell us a little bit about your father's prowess as a basketball player.
Yes, he played basketball for Wampum High School. He won 2 state championships. He had 103 scholarships to play college basketball. And he always related playing basketball, the game of basketball, to baseball. You know, your balance, your rhythm, playing in the infield is like playing defense in basketball. You know, he always had that. Even at the plate, he said, you know, what you're sitting down with your hips, and it was all about basketball balance. He just related a lot to basketball.
You know, I just want to tell you, your dad was a great basketball player.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a great basketball player.
Oh, thank you.
And, you know, some of the people that knew basketball back then, they say he just jumped out of the gym.
We were just talking about that, yeah. See, he said he was dunking at from a standstill when he was about 5'8".
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Just a great athlete.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you know, you had to be a great athlete to hold that long bat. What, 39 inches?
36.
36.
36, yeah.
That's a long bat.
Oh, yeah. We were in Kansas City, and my son asked me, he said, Papa, why do you swing such a long bat? He says, that's so they couldn't run from me. So the pitchers, and Eddie Murray had to laugh at that one, because that he said he liked the ball outside, and they tried to throw him away, and he just clicked.
Yeah. Yeah, just some power. I hate to interrupt. I just wanted to mention that to you, because we knew that he was a great basketball player.
Oh, yeah.
And a great baseball player.
Oh, thank you.
So I'll give it back to you. I don't want to take over your show, Dan.
John, if I have you on here again, we got to pay you $1,000 according to the unions. No, I'm getting that, but you add a lot, John, to every event at which you're present. And I'm going to turn back to Richard now, but you know, talking about basketball, if I'm not mistaken, your dad was a member of the All-State high school basketball team. Mm-hmm. And Granny Lash of Chester was another member of that all-state team. Chester produced a lot of good high school players down there, still do. Mm-hmm. So, you know, another guy that could dunk besides your father?
Who's that?
Bill Werndell. No, he played a lot of basketball.
You know who his high school coach was? Butler Hennon.
Yes.
At Wampum, whose son was an All-American with Wilt Chamberlain at the University of
Pittsburgh. Yeah.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Well,
getting a history lesson tonight, huh?
We are, and everybody's contributing so much. Mickey, let's turn to the current Phillies, and how do you see the future unfolding? Are we going to have to trade for a fifth member of the starting rotation? Do you think, well, you know, Kyle Schwarber was able to come back from an ACL injury and play in the 2016 World Series for the Cubs. Wouldn't it be neat if Reese Hoskin could do that for the Phillies?
Yeah, it'd be great. I'm going to be honest. I didn't think we'd miss him as much as we miss him. I knew we'd miss some power and some good at-bats, but we miss him. He really solidified and lengthened that lineup, and Clemens has done a nice job. He's playing a little bit better than I thought he would play. He's doing a nice job there, but I think we're going to have to get a fifth starter at some point. I'm not big on the reliever, the reliever bullpen games. Not for a team that's in contention. So, and the trade deadline's not that far away. What is it, about 5 weeks away or something? So, yeah, I would like to see us go out. And it doesn't have to be a dominating pitcher, but someone that can go out there and give you 5 or 6 innings and keep you in the ball game. So, hopefully they can do something sooner than later.
Can you give us a name? Who would be somebody that might fit into that category?
I would want it to be a veteran pitcher on a team that maybe not doing very well. They're looking for maybe a minor leaguer that they could, develop. I don't know any names offhand, but just someone that can go out there, he knows how to pitch, he can give you 5, 6 innings, and then hand it over to the bullpen.
Did you play basketball also?
I did.
Okay, tell us about your basketball.
I'm actually I have the most points scored in my high school. Now, it was a really small school. and I could not dunk. I could touch the rim barely, but yeah, I graduated from high school, and they put the three-pointer in play the year after. So I was a good shooter, and I could take the ball to the hoop. But yeah, I led my school, and the record still stands. I think I had almost 1,800 high school points.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Also, a member of the United States Olympic baseball team.
Yeah. 1988, won a gold medal in Seoul, Korea. So that's something I'm very, very proud of.
Wow.
And I actually just brought my gold medal to the Phillies, and I think they're gonna display it up in the Hall of Fame Club. So that's pretty cool.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Chris Hermer, how much time do we have left? 3 minutes? Okay. Well, you know that we're on every Monday. If the Phillies are home on a Monday night, we tape the show in the afternoon from 12 to 1. Next Monday, we're going to be at Chickies and Pete's in Parks Casino. That's in Bensalem, Pennsylvania. And we haven't confirmed our guest yet. And it looks like the others, I don't think the other celebrity that I was telling you about is going to make it, but it was Larry Christensen. He wanted to stop by, and Larry is going to join us. I asked Larry for next week.
Okay.
Larry's going to join us July 17th when we're in Drexel Hill. But we'll have another good guest. Hey, what'd you guys think of having Richard Allen and Mark Carfagno on tonight? And Dancing Jane has come back. Drinks are on Dancing Jane, everybody. Hey, how about now? Jane, we thank you. Yeah, I am kidding. Well, listen, we're just glad to see you. Oh, hi, Bill. You know, I thought I recognized him. Well, it's great to see all of you guys. It's great to see this nice crowd. I'll tell you what, they got to be pretty happy here. This is, I was looking for Noah's Ark out there, you know, and we got a wonderful crowd here at Chickies and Pete's in Malvern, and we expect to see another good crowd in Chickies and Pete's at Parks Casino next Monday. That'll be 6 to 7. Don't forget, Phillies in Arizona tonight. And Richard, we only have a minute left. What are you doing with yourself nowadays for those in our audience, our live audience and radio listening audience who'd like to know?
Right now, I'm living in Tampa and still promoting this whole campaign once it gets back going again.
Are your wife and mom maybe listening or watching tonight?
Possibly. Know? I didn't check with them again, but you know.
So what's the next vote? What is the next vote coming up?
Okay. Froggy. Mickey Morandini wants to know, when is the next vote by the Veterans Committee? Do you know,
26,
Richard?
I believe.
No.
2024.
And how many times can you be on the Veterans Committee vote? How many times can you be on that ballot? How many times can you be on the ballot for Veterans Committee?
Okay.
Infinity, okay.
Oh.
Gotcha.
All right.
That's good.
For Richard Allen and Mickey Morandini, I'm Dan Baker. Thanks for listening to the Independence Blue Cross Bull Session. Chris Ermer, producer.
You've been listening to the Independence Blue Cross Bull Session. Tonight's show is an exclusive presentation of 1490 WBCB.